What is up, Internet world, and welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you the 2022 Hyundai IONIQ 5. Do you guys see what this looks like? This is the coolest thing on the planet for 2022. You see, Tesla has had chip shortages, but not Hyundai, because in South Korea they build and make chips. So they've been stacking up on their chips.
Yum!
So delays have not occurred when you buy a Hyundai. And that is why they've ramped up production of stuff like this. This modern, cool, funky, hatchback, monster wheelbase vehicle has some unique features, including a sliding console and magnetic dash, some patents on the way, and obviously the most important piece when you're buying an electric car, tax credits. So I'm gonna totally botch this guy's name. His name is Giorgetto Giaiaro. Total botch. However, this guy in 1975 designed something called the DeLorean. Yes, he took that design language called folding paper and also did it on the Hyundai Pony Coupe. Yes, the Hyundai Pony. When we think about the Hyundai Pony, we think like disaster. That thing rusted like crazy, was cheap, and it was the first car that Hyundai brought from South Korea. So fast forward all the way to 2019, and they launched a Concept 45, which looks very similar to this thing. And then, yes, in 2022, they launched this, the Hyundai IONIQ 5. Now, the IONIQ name brand is gonna have 23 models behind it. They're gonna have the IONIQ 6, which will be a sedan, sporty sedan, of course, and then the IONIQ 7, which will be an SUV. So we start off with the IONIQ 5. So let's get into it. If you are looking to purchase an IONIQ 5, there are two main factors you need to consider. How big is your battery, and how much power do you need? Well, luckily for you, you've got 3 different power plants and 2 different battery sizes. That is pretty cool because you can actually get to 60 miles an hour in 5 seconds. And if you're not that interested in going fast, we can get a power plant that takes you to 60 in 8.1 seconds. Now price point, because that is important. Well, they start at $39,700. That will be available later on in 2022. As of now, you can start at $43,650 and work your way up all the way to about $55,000 American. Before I launch this 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque beast to 5 seconds to 100, I want to tell you something that's really interesting. This has wide tires, and this is from a brand that is not luxury. That's not expensive. That's just economy. 5 seconds, 446 torque. Drive mode to sport, foot to the ground, and go. Just imagine, this thing. Just imagine you can adjust suspension on the fly in this thing. Charge me $2 grand more. I will pay the money to be able to hammer around this corner. This is good. Really wide tires. There's a little bit of body roll. Again, this is an SUV on the ground. Doesn't feel like an SUV. Woohoo! I am pretty impressed. Infrastructure, everybody's favorite one. How does this thing charge? So it's marketed, and it does do it, no fault of the car, is it charges up to 80%, so from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes with a 350 kilowatt hour charger. Now that is pretty sweet because, again, my Tesla only does 250 kilowatts, which is good, but not as fast as this thing. Except trying to find one that isn't broken or is not installed or not available in your area is quite high. The probability is just not good at this point unless you live in an area that has it. So if you are looking to buy one and that 18 minutes is important to you, make sure you have a 350 kilowatt charger easily accessible to you. If I told anybody 10 years ago that a Hyundai has 20-inch wheels, looks like an Audi S3 hatchback, and is deemed an SUV, they think I'm loopy. So on the front here, you have something really unique. Check out these headlights. They have 256 parametric pixels, and it looks straight out of a video game, including this like lighted underbar here. You can only get this on the top model. On the base model, you don't get this lighting, which is unfortunately a shame, but hey, if you spent the money, you deserve the extra light. Now take a look at these two little boxes here. Those boxes indicate that the vehicle is charging. Now, what do you guys think about this big Hyundai badge? I wish it was a little bit smaller. Now, if you didn't know, Hyundai is actually two guys shaking hands on a deal. Sort of corny, but that's what it was. Here's how much room the IONIQ 5 has under the front frunk. Huh, is that a YouTube plaque? What? Make sure you guys subscribe. We gotta get to the milli. Our 100 goes here and our milli goes there. Now, as far as wheels, we have reviewed the Mach-E Performance GT, and that had 245s as far as width. This thing has 255s. Yes, this Hyundai is wider than the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. Think about that for a second. Then they also have improved the handles. They've taken it one step further than Tesla. You see, the Model 3 is really irritating when you have to open the door. This one sort of have grooves behind it, and when you want to open the door, you simply just either walk up to it. Now, I've been holding this key forever, so it's not working very well, but you pull it, it's very easy, and it feels sort of solid. You see, the Tesla doesn't feel solid. I know because, well, I own one. And as you make your way to the back, you will see how long this back door is. So one of the key features that Hyundai wanted to do was make a really big back end. I mean, you know, to get in the car here. And when I do lock the door, these handles fold in nice and flush. It also has an extra feature on the key where I can have the car come out of a parking spot or back into a parking spot simply by just holding down these little buttons on the key. So you see, this is 118.1 inches of wheelbase. That is the same as an Audi Q7. Yes, it is bigger than a Telluride and a Palisade. It is crazy, the fact that this thing looks like a small little hatchback. But when you look at its size, by looking inside, which I'll show you guys after, and you look at this huge monster glass sunroof, which they've sort of implemented to make it feel a lot larger inside. And I'll get to all those pieces. But man, this is such a trick. When I look at it, I think it's a small little hatchback, but it's so not. It's way more than that. This car is beautiful to look at, especially all these cuts and lines, and I wish this was illuminated, but hey, can't be picky because the back end makes up for it all. They also follow the parametric pixels all the way through. It's such a video game type design. I absolutely love it. Now, one of the complaints is it does not have a rear wiper because the design is that air flows through and pushes the water down. We haven't really seen that yet because we haven't driven it fast enough, but you would like to know that this thing does tow 1,500 pounds, totally left field. So as you watch the trunk gracefully elevate, you would like to know that just a couple weeks ago, Hyundai filed a patent on a sliding rear trunk lid. How cool is this? They're actually thinking about the future. They build a car and still go out there and try to make the product they put out better. As far as trunk measurements go, you have 39 deep and it's as wide as 4 feet. Yes, this has the exact same measurements as the Mach-E. It is a little bit smaller than the Volkswagen ID4, but it is still bigger than our base comparison, the Audi Q5. Yes, this little hatchback is larger than an Audi Q5. Back seat of the IONIQ 5. Now, this is considered an SUV and not a hatchback because of a few reasons. Namely, this. You can slide this backwards and forwards. And yes, this does tilt, and you can adjust seats in all kinds of different ways. You can even make it lie down like this, just like the front, which I'll show you in a minute. It also does have a flat floor. You see, this is flat all the way through. It also does have sunshades and a pretty generous amount of space for my hands to go on the side here. It does have really cool different mix of materials. It doesn't only just have leather all the way through. They've actually put this little strip of suede with these little pixelated boxes to match the front and rear headlights and taillights. It also has different sort of materials mixed all the way through. Take a look at these seats in the front. It does have this piping that goes through even around the headrest, and look at the back here, different texture all the way through. So a lot of mix of materials that I really like. See, manufacturers used to just mix of materials when it comes to sort of the front dash, mixing aluminum, wood, and some plastics, but in this specific case, they're mixing it up in different ways. It does have this massive glass panel that they've managed to actually install without any sort of extra support. It's wide open and one piece, something you'd see on maybe a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. but this is a Hyundai. It does have obviously your two cup holders in the back like most other vehicles, and it does have USB, two of them. Interestingly enough though, they're not USB-Cs. For your audiophiles, it's available with a 6-speaker or an 8-speaker Bose sound system. But here's something that I find odd. There is no rear climate controls. There are climate vents, which are nice. They're on the side here, but there are no climate controls. I cannot adjust the temperature back here. Considering its size, even though I say it's small looking on the outside, it is very big on the inside. So maybe you'd want to see some rear climate controls. Front seat of the IONIQ 5. Now there's some pieces here that are really out of the box, including a sliding center console. Can you believe that this is a hatchback slash SUV and it's got a sliding console, including a flat floor in the front as well. So the person in here can actually come here without getting out of the car. You see, I try to do that in other cars, ain't gonna happen. Another factor are the seats. Not only do they have sugarcane, corn, flaxseed oil, and recycled PET bottles, they do have a leg rest. Yes, when I'm relaxing to charge, I can simply press a button and voila, this thing raises and my feet get relaxed. Another unique feature of sorts is not the 12.2-inch individual screens you have, but the magnetic dashboard that you have next to it. Yes, you can actually put magnets right here to remind you of things, or if you want to hang your cell phone up, but for me, I'll put it right there in the wireless charging. Extra cool features are ambient lighting. You see, Kia Hyundai have done a great job in introducing ambient lighting in pretty much all their products, and here they're just layering up. This also does have auto hold, and it does have an extra USB if you need it. So let's talk about the steering wheel. This steering wheel does not have a Hyundai badge. It's got 4 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe Hyundai is rebranding. But what it does have is it does have your regen adjustment in the paddle shifters. You can make it stronger, which means it'll brake more and regenerate the battery, or you can sort of hit the right button here and it'll coast and suck up all the battery power that you have left. Now the only thing I found weird is it doesn't have a heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel. You have to go sort of in the menu and change it, which is kind of an extra step. You'd expect it to have a button somewhere here where I can have heated steering wheel. It does have your Kia Hyundai keep you in your lane automatic braking, and they are the best in the business, definitely at this price point. It does have your drive modes, so you can adjust from eco, normal, and then sport. Something that is low-key awesome is this augmented reality heads-up display. It'll actually show you left and right pretty much the same as a $140,000 Escalade. So even though you're buying electric, there are still some hard buttons that they will never take away. Fingers crossed. It obviously does have your window switches, which is crazy because I can simply say this.
Please say a command.
Put down driver's window.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
It may take some getting used to, but this shifter stalk here is actually pretty easy to use as long as you're pressing the brake. You cannot go from reverse directly into drive. You actually have to almost come to a complete stop, and then you can put it into drive. You see a lot of cars, when you're in reverse, you can simply just go into drive and then putter away, but not in this one. You have to come to a complete stop. Although the quality when you turn it is very, very good. It's not like clink, 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 any sort of plastic. It's just very soft. They've actually thought about that. And the same with the other buttons. All the buttons you hit here are sort of a very small touch feel. It's soft. It's not plasticky. That's luxury-like. So this display, driver is 12.25 inch, and then everybody else is 12.25 inch touchscreen. Kind of looks like a Mercedes-Benz flat panel screen with 2 individual screens. The new stuff is always 1 panel now, but the old stuff, sort of current, is 2 individual screens. Has this magnetic piece on this side. So I got this thingamajiggy that you get for your cell phone. You tap on you put on the back of your cell phone like this. You put it over here. Well, it doesn't seem to work. So I'm not sure how it's done, but apparently you can use this as a magnet and you can put stuff, except this thing that you put in the back of your cell phone doesn't work. So let's take a short dive in this 12.25 screen. Now everything in here is pretty much the same as most other Hyundai Kias we reviewed, except this one has some battery information. So in this specific case, it's at 29%, and we have 91 kilometers of range. And I have a specific EV button. So when I hit it, it shows me some data of how long I can go with or without the air conditioning or climate control on or off, as well as where's the closest EV station, and then departure times, because you can schedule exactly when to want the car to be charging. This also has something called V2L, which stands for Vehicle to Load, and essentially just means you have a power output where you can charge e-bikes, camping gear, scooters, or any other big heavy-duty equipment. Totally different than anything you've seen before out of a little baby station wagon. Now moving along here, the only other unique thing that I talk about is this warmer ventilation button. You see, there's no way to actually get your heated seats to be on with a hard button. You have to go in this screen and use these little menus and adjust your heated seats, which I find a little bit annoying. Good brakes, smooth. So there has been some talk about they wish that the suspension was a little bit firmer. And that is because we've been tricked with the outside. We're thinking that this is a sports car. It's got the performance, but it's actually deemed an SUV. So weird, so weird, so weird. But what is cool is that they are in the beta testing of using this technology to actually pay for fast food, pay for parking, all from your car. You just roll up to McDonald's and your order's ready because the car paid for it. Awesome. So the Korean version has this car with digital side mirrors. And they say it's good in rain and snow. Well, for starters, I didn't know there was snow in Korea. I could suck in geography. But I will tell you, when there's rain, cameras don't really do the best job. They always seem to be blocked. So you can see around you, but then you have all these little dots and it's kind of annoying. So I actually do prefer to have regular mirrors. I like it, it's cool. The cool part is they do integrate it when you turn. So when I do turn left and right though, I do have the camera that shows me what's going on my right and left. And it actually does move on the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen, so it's done well. So I really don't need to have digital mirrors on my left and right. I can simply just look there when I do signal, which is the way you're supposed to drive. You see, a lot of other YouTubers out there will say that you get $7,500 off when you buy one of these things. Now that is true, you do get $7,500 credit, but it only applies if you have to pay the government money. If you actually owe no taxes, you don't get $7,500. That's why they say it's up to $7,500. It's not like off your taxes, or you get a bonus, or you get a credit, or you get a discount off the car. That's not how it works. $7,500 only if you owe the government money. So hopefully this year you owe them more than $7,500. Then you will get that whole. So, a lot of good pieces here. I do like the fact that they have stuff in the pipeline, like that cool rear sliding tailgate. Awesome. If you don't have the height, that's in thinking. They're thinking. It has the fact that you can potentially pay for stuff in your car. Not like an NFC, more like you just roll up and it automatically does it for you. Kind of sweet. I do like the fact these seats do slide up, so in case you want to sleep in your car, you can while you're charging, because good luck trying to find a 350 kilowatt charger. I do like the fact you can put little pictures of your children right here on this magnet, which I still haven't got to work. I do like the fact that you can get the back end to slide. And I do like the fact it's got one big, massive single pane window all the way back for a sunroof, moonroof, whatever you like to call it. And my favorite part is the looks. The looks are awesome. I would have bought this thing in my 20s all day. But there's the EV6 we're gonna do next week, so we'll see how that thing competes in terms of aesthetics in the outside, because that is supposed to be geared to the younger generation. Would I buy it as a primary car? Hard to say. Not with the infrastructure that lives around here for me, or that is around here from where I live, or whatever you want to call it. I have to make sure that it's above 50% all the time to feel safe and comfortable. That if in an emergency I gotta use it, it could do the mileage for me. Now, in the winter, it does really crush the mileage. Same with the Tesla, same with the Tesla. Winter is tough. So hopefully you guys are subscribing and you like this channel and you like what we're doing, and if you do, we're selling merch now. Thanks for watching.